Welcome to Corrective Consciousness episode 105, the podcast where we explore the nitty of pop culture. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
Mr. Ryu 45.
Whoa, he's back. How did he do it?
Again.
Oh, what did you do with Mr. Ryu?
You don't want to know what happened to the first 44.
Yeah, you don't.
I want to see how many entries you tried before one of these.
43, damn. 44, damn. 45, thank you, finally.
Actually, the funny thing is, I got 45 because, I think when I was, in middle school, I was like, I want my email to be video game master. What? It's taken, and it just made me 45. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, 45 just stuck.
Oh, nice.
I should actually just be Mr. Ryu 39, but whatever.
At this point, that would make more sense.
It was me and my friends were talking about the guy who must have had the original Pimp Daddy on AOL. Must be some kind of genius.
Yeah.
It's just he was quick with that.
No, I'm
how
thinking...
long did it take before Gmail got Pimp Daddy without a number?
No, I'm thinking, you know how some people surrounded their names in capital X, lowercase x, capital X?
Yeah.
The people who got those usernames without having to do that. SSJ, Sephiroth Trunks, that's just, I got it. It's mine, I got it first.
You're right.
Oh man, remember when we thought Trunks was the coolest thing? Oh man, Trunks.
Well, within the context of DBZ, he's up there.
Yeah, he is. He's still a cool
Trunks.
character.
Yeah. Where he does that weird move where he waves his hands 1,000 times and then shoots a beam when no one else has to do it, so it's stupid,
Burning
but it's
attack.
still really cool.
Hey, yeah, it's cool, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Why does he look like Go-Go Ackman? I don't get it. But anyway, welcome to the first exclusive episode of Corrective Consciousness. Last on Tuesday, it was the first reactive on the Corrective Consciousness channel. This is the first one that will not be broadcast on Lotus Prince's YouTube channel. So welcome to the community here. So,
The dawn of a new era.
Oh boy, I came for a great momentous moment.
Yeah, you sure picked a good time.
Yeah, I did.
Doesn't it feel different when you're actually recording it?
Not really.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to redo the past 105 episodes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do over. And then just all mulligan.
Well, the good news is this is the 105th, so we only need to redo the past 104 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I forgot.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
But this week we will be discussing our favorite multiplayer games, things that we like playing with each other, primarily, and also online. Now, I did want to preface this with the fact that there may be updates on these episodes. We might have another multiplayer focused episode in the future. In fact, I know we will. But I wanted to get some discussion going around some of our favorite games, of all time to play with multiple people. So I wanted to first start off by saying Lotus, Old Man Stompy, and I this morning took a stab at Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. We have been talking about doing it for a little while, and we finally got a chance to work, all three of us synced up. And we were actually able to play the game. I actually had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know about you, Lotus.
Yeah, I can definitely see that game getting really frustrating later on. But we played the first 3 or 4 levels, and it was quite entertaining regarding figuring out what to do based on the puzzles concerning height, because you pick each other up and stack each other up. And successful execution of the moves was pretty sweet as well.
You know, and we synced up pretty well. We generally knew what each other was getting at after a little bit.
Yeah, with us, we're all friends. We're not picking randos online, so we could have done Discord. But no, we just did the 3DS communication where you choose one of 8 emotes, pick me up, use an item, come over here, and it worked.
Yeah, and we actually had we did pretty well. I actually don't think the the difficulty goes up very high. And in fact, we started off with I made a huge mistake. I turned the game into Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles by accident, where we had that orb that we had to stay in, like the orb's light. So those are challenge modes. You could pick various challenge modes to make. There are like 4 different versions of each level. There's like a no challenge, and then there's like 3 other challenges. And I had picked that one, and that's actually the hardest one. We have to stay within the within the protection of the orb, because everything else is everything outside of it is poisonous. And the thing about that is it essentially makes sure that like one person can't fight, or you have to put it down in order to.
Yeah, I mean, you could just drop it, and then all 3 of you can run around in that particular area. But if you want to move around, then one of you is just occupied by holding that item.
But it was a bad first choice for like the very first.
Yeah, but at the same time though, when you beat a level, you get a little crown for completion, but it fills in one of 4 slots. So for that one, it filled in that particular challenge slot. So like, it still goes toward completion.
Yeah, and not only that, but each challenge has a different set of rewards at the end.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
So, and the rewards are used for costumes later on.
Yeah, by the way, the costumes not only are for swag, but they actually have practical effects. The funny thing is, only on Stompy and I were wearing the classic Link Heroes tunic. You stuck with, like, before you get a costume, like, your regular... But
I was just doing that to be funny.
I mean, yeah, but apparently I didn't realize until after we were done, but apparently you take double damage with that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So no wonder we were getting murdered. But I did switch to it eventually. But I actually bought a fair amount of costumes late after we played. So I actually have a Kokiri one that will give you a triple spread shot. On the arrows, which is neat. I bought a bomb suit, which will make all bombs a big bomb, and I bought one other one, and I forget what it does. But
I looked into suits, but they require materials, and like I didn't have what it took to get the suits, even though I had the rupees.
Yeah, I played a couple times before, and
that explains
with all of the stuff that we did. Today I was able to get like the final pieces that I needed for them.
Yeah, today alone we racked up like over 1,000 rupees just by doing the first couple of levels.
Yeah, I actually had 3,000 rupees by the end of it. My goal is to actually get the princess dress, because that's funny.
Yeah.
And also to get the cheerleader outfit, because I think it's funny. But the cheerleader outfit is like one of the most expensive. I also want to get the Tinkle one as well.
You gotta get the Tingle one. Come on.
But the cheerleader one, you need to get frilly material is the thing that you need for it. There are you need to have 3 of them, and I think you can only buy them from a merchant outside. Mm-hmm. And the merchant sells them for 3,000 rupees.
I mean, I'll take buying them. Like, the only thing that bugs me is when you beat a level, you open a chest and you can get one of 2 things, and it's just luck-based. So I really don't like the idea of having to play through, like, a sequence of levels to maybe get the thing I want. Like, that's kind of asking a lot.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to encourage you to play the game more.
Well, of course, but like I don't want to play, like, if you're playing through the game anyway, that's one thing. But I really don't want to go back and play these levels for a piece and then go through like 15 minutes and just not get it. Like, that's a pain in the ass.
Isn't that kind of the point of those kinds of games? It's like the grind.
Yeah, I mean, like Monster Hunter's like that too.
Well, yeah, Monster Hunter's like that, but this is freaking Zelda. Like, I just want to find my pieces and make my costumes. Like, I know this is a multiplayer-centered Zelda game, so it's a bit different in that regard, but it's like, man, I don't want to spend all day, like, maybe getting what I want.
It's all about fashion, but like a lot of other multiplayer-focused games. But
yeah,
what's good is they have a couple of ways of mitigating that. So number one, you could buy things from the merchant.
Yeah, some of them are just sold, which is kind of nice.
And then but keep in mind you're paying 9,000 to
yeah, what
buy
takes
this.
longer, finding the piece or getting the rupees?
Exactly. And then there's also a daily giveaway.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So there are three ways of getting them. Plus, you can play the game on your own. Like you could play it one player. It's not as fun. But
yeah, I was actually considering playing the levels we already did one player with like the other challenges.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfectly good way of doing it. In fact, I was going to suggest it. That's what I was going to do. That way you can level up and get the outfits you need. But I'm glad that you're getting into it and that you're enjoying the experience.
Yeah, it's pretty
it seemed
enjoyable.
it seems like you were liking it. Pretty good towards the end there.
Yeah.
So, I still think that the interface with that game is really its downfall. I mean, like the logistics of it, rather. What I found was, especially frustrating is like you can only do it with 1 or 3 people. Like,
yeah, you
what
can't
is
just
that?
go to your friend and say, "Let's play Triforce Heroes." Like, no, you need to sync it up with 2 other people.
Yeah, exactly, and coordinating with 3 people is much harder than 2 people, if you ask me. So, if one of you has something that comes up or something, you're just
the whole thing's gone. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I guess we'll both just talk on the phone while playing single player each. It's like, what?
Why?
Yeah.
But you're into a bunch of multiplayer games, Mr. Ryu. What are you playing right now?
Well, as you all know, as I guess Minty Mitts is I guess addiction. It's Final Fantasy 14 right now.
What class do you play?
Actually, I can play all of them. So, like, I'm like one of those jack of all trades guys, but I main tank.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'm mainly a paladin, and that class is fun for in-game content. Let's see, what other multiplayer games are like aside from fighting games. I mean, they count as
sure
multiplayer games. So
I was actually going to bring up a couple different 2-player games that I've been playing recently.
Definitely the Street Fighter series. I would like to play Super Turbo with a couple of my friends. Because Super Turbo is like really fun. I mean, it is busted, but like it's still fun.
Is that the Switch one?
No, Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo is like the really old one before Ultra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ultra Street Fighter 2 is just goofy. I've never played that one, but I know it's like really goofy.
Yeah, when that goes on sale on the eShop, I'm going to pick that up for the Switch. That way we could play it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That game is not balanced very well. I mean, Super Turbo was never balanced to begin with, but, like, that takes it to a whole new level of, like, bullshit with, like, Evil Ryu and Violent Ken.
What's unbalanced about it?
Huh?
What's unbalanced about it? What characters are, like, out of whack?
Violent Ken has like a safe dragon punch. Like he can like dizzy you in one combo and essentially just like touch of death you. And like same thing with Evil Ryu kind of, but Violent Ken is worse. He has like a command dash that goes through fireballs, is super fast, hard to react to. And I'm just like, man, this game looks goofy. And
leave it to an SNK character to pull that kind of bullshit.
And like Akuma still busted as usual, and like he can. There's a trap you can do where if like they block an air fireball in the corner, you get a guaranteed Raging Demon because they can't jump out of it. And I'm like, man, this game is goofy.
That's awesome. And I know you're playing Fighters right now, right?
Dragon Ball Fighters. It's super fun game, but it's also really wonky and busted. It's because it's essentially just Marvel versus Capcom. Like with assists, and right now, like I think I can't take the game too seriously right now because like there's too many players who use Cell, and Cell is undisputed best character in the game right now. And like I'm just getting tired of fighting all these Cells and like dealing with him because he's like way too good. I'm like, damn.
Way too perfect.
Yeah, he's way too perfect. It makes sense because he's perfect Cell. I mean, you don't need him to win because like the last major tournament, like CEO 2018, Kazunoko the grand champion of like the Dragon Ball Fighters tournament there used Gohan, Kid Buu, and Yamcha.
Wow.
Yamcha's good. Yamcha's good.
Respect the Wolfang fist.
Actually,
he's the best baseball player in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Actually, watching like Dragon Ball Fighters in like the big tournaments is like really fun.
Nice.
Cause like, and also there's a special case for like CEO Community Effort Orlando. Like if you actually do make it to grand finals, and you know CEO is like kind of like wrestling themed, like the main stage is a wrestling ring. So if you make it to top 8 in grand finals, you get to have your own personal like wrestling intro with your own personal theme.
Oh,
wow,
that's
And
amazing.
So someone like let's see, there's a player, Apology Man, who uses TN. Like he came into the stage with like a TN belt and like a paper third eye, doing like the tri-beam, like, you know, while walking down the aisle with his friend, like, you know, with the Chaozu like hat and like makeup.
Nice.
It was like TN and Chaozu because like he's like I guess US's best TN player.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets on stage, his opponent, who was actually Kazunoko, was like just waiting for him. So once Apology Man gets on the stage, he does like the no Chaozu pose, and his friend just like goes up to like Kazunoko and hugs him, and Kazunoko is like playing around going ah, and like you know Chaozu's just hugging him.
That's marvelous.
And then like after the Chaozu like lets him go, he like goes down on the floor and does the Yamcha pose. 'Cause, you know, he plays Yamcha.
That's
And everyone
great.
was like, "This is the best."
That's marvelous.
I need to show you
great.
the video later, but
Yes.
yeah.
There's a pretty
Another
extensive
sorry.
multiplayer or story mode in that, isn't there?
There is a story mode. It's kind of a slog. It's a grind.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's
There
one
is a
the
bunch of
worst
silly
aspects
fan
of it.
service though. Like I saw some
I mean, like the
cutscenes of
interactions
like
are the best part of the story mode.
yeah.
But, like, going through it sucks.
Like I just enjoyed Gotenks, like Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks doing like cool poses, and the Ginyu Force is like, no man, like these are cool poses, and they're just doing poses with the freaking Ginyu Force.
and
It
then
seems
like
better.
Bulma's like, "Stop it!" And then they're like, "Okay, mom."
Yeah, that's great.
I also wanted to bring up that I've been playing some Nidhogg lately with a buddy of mine. While we had a couple people over in my place, and you guys have played Nidhogg, right?
Oh yes, this game is fun. Although I can't say. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a little digression, but I do not like Nidhogg 2 style.
So I was just going to mention that we picked we played Nidhogg 1 for a while, and then we started playing Nidhogg 2. I think the gameplay of Nidhogg 2 is pretty good, but the art style is like ugh.
Oh my god! When I looked at it, I was like, "Oh god, what the hell?"
It's such a weird regression because like the backgrounds look great. Like they did a really good job with the way the game like looks in terms of the backgrounds, but the characters are ugly as sin. I don't know what they were thinking.
I know,
they could just
right?
they could just put the old characters in it and it would have been fine. But for one reason or another, they didn't want to do that. I don't know why. But they look terrible. They look like potatoes that you had put like googly eyes on. Like
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh my god, this looks hideous."
But what's cool about it was they did a couple things. So you can first of all, there are more levels, which is always good. Some of the levels are based off the old ones. There were only 4 levels in the original. I think there's 10 in the new one. And there are other weapons in the game. And what you do is your spawns cycle with different weapons, and you can set what those weapons should be at the beginning of the game. So you can put it all on sword if you want, like to have it play like Nidhogg 1.
Oh.
Or you can have it cycle through. Its default is to cycle through the different weapons. So you start with swords, but then it'll go to a dagger next, which is quicker but has shorter range. But has one of the most devastating throws because you can throw it really quickly in that game. And then there is the bow and arrow. So there are three weapons. So it's pretty cool. The bow and arrow, if you throw it, it actually doesn't kill the other person. So everything is actually different. And the bow and arrow is very bad short range, but it's awesome long range. But the arrows can be deflected by the other person. So they all have their pros and cons. It was actually pretty fun. I would say that Nidhogg 2 is not a replacement for Nidhogg 1. It's just another game. But Nidhogg 1 has that simplicity going for it. It's so good. It doesn't need extra stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably the only thing they could have done was just add levels to it, and it would have been fine. But I think you could play that game over and over again. It's just so simple and good. And I've also been playing one thing that I really like about the Nintendo multiplayer games is that basically anybody can pick them up. Anybody that remembers them from like the N64 days can pick them up. One of my girlfriend's friends from Venezuela, he actually came by while we were on vacation. We went to vacation in Cape May, New Jersey, and he played the new Mario Tennis with me and Mario Kart 8, and it was just like he remembered. You know, he got the hang of it really quick. So we had a lot of fun doing that. So I just wanted to mention those things real quick. And Lotus and I played a couple games a couple weeks ago as well. We played Lethal League.
Yeah, for a little bit.
I know that game. That game looks fun as hell.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more fun with 4 players, but
with 2 players it's all right, but I could see it like the fun is the chaos.
Yeah, it's definitely has some fun moments. You were playing as the crocodile, I think.
We each played a couple characters. I was Candyman, I think, then Crocodile.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a lot of fun. But I think the highlight of the multiplayer experience that we were doing was Samurai Gun.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, I really liked playing that. I don't know what your opinion of it is.
It's all right. I mean, it's pretty fun. I think I prefer Towerfall, but Samurai Gun's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Have you ever played Samurai Gun, Mr. Ryu?
I have not played Samurai Gun.
Okay, so Samurai Gun is very similar to Towerfall. You can have up to 4 people on a screen, but the gimmick with it is that it's a lot more like a samurai genre game where one hit. It's more melee focused.
Oh, it's like Bushido Blade.
Bushido Blade.
I mean, you do have I think it's like 6 bullets per life, but the bullets can be deflected back at you with a well-timed sword swing. And you can run out of bullets, so it might have to come to melee. Like, melee might be your go-to option anyway, but if you're the kind of person who sits back and fires from a distance, you can't keep doing that if you miss.
It's also per life, so I'll reiterate that. Like, so if you kill your opponent and your opponent respawns with another life, you still have the same amount of bullets left over.
Yeah, you're still down a bullet, or however many you fired.
Yeah. I think it's a fun alternative if you want to mix things up, but I think Towerfall overall is a better game.
Yeah.
But Towerfall is like our go-to game, like when we get together. I absolutely love that game.
Oh yeah, that's a really good game.
Yeah, like Magfest or whatever, it's a lot of fun, especially when you rotate players. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I wanted to ask you guys, I've never played this, but I know you maybe, at least Lotus has played this. I'm always intrigued about it, and I want a copy of it, but it's getting expensive now. Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii.
I think Mr. Ryu knows a thing or two about Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh my god.
Number one, have fun getting a copy, but yeah, you will lose friends over that game. That entire game is fucking your friends over.
Okay, what's a good example? Like, I think I heard like Monopoly. I guess like makes you lose friends. Right?
Yeah, well, people say Monopoly and like Mario Kart will make you lose friends.
No, No, Dokapon Kingdom
Dokapon
can be
Kingdom,
a
man.
complete jerk by choice.
Not to mention, if you're losing badly enough, like the evil guy would be like, "I'll power you up at a price," and you just basically get carte blanche to fuck everybody over for like 3 turns. It's just like,
it's just
man.
like, well, it's like I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna fuck you guys over.
Yeah, it is a legitimately fun game, but like you better go in knowing what you're going into if you're playing with like as a party game.
Yeah, also like treat it like a really long board game because like you definitely
It
need a
is
lot
a
of
really
time
long
to
board
like
game.
yeah you definitely need a lot of time to truly appreciate it.
And again, the way Mr. Ryu plays, you know how he could like fuck around in Smash Brothers. He is a dangerous Dokapon Kingdom player.
I'm just a jerk. I will go over my I will go out of my way to screw you over.
Yeah, people are like forging and breaking alliances in that game. Like, could you please not attack me? I want to go after this one person. And oh man, it is a
could
fun
you please
game,
not
but,
attack me? Oh yeah, sure. I'll help you. And then like I just kill the person I helped.
Yeah. Dokapon Kingdom is really fun, but like everything could be house ruled, like based on like who you're gonna go after. Like the game plays within its own rules. You know, you roll the dice and everything, but like what you plan to do with your moves, you can literally attack other players and take their stuff. It's just like, oh boy.
Do you just not like align with anybody?
Well, I mean, you're supposed to kill monsters and gain XP and stuff, and if you happen to encounter other players, then you can take them out too. But like, it's almost like Grand Theft Auto. You have what you're supposed to do, but wouldn't you rather just drive around the city and run people over? Like that's Dokapon Kingdom.
Yeah. And I hope you have an understanding with me. Just,
well, that's just the thing, though. Like, there is no understanding with you. You just think there is, and then
I know that
you just
that
fuck
Perry
over.
has an understanding.
Yeah, Perry has an understanding with you.
I think
it's twice as annoying. Where like they both gang up on another player, and it's like, oh, we have an understanding, even when they actually really in context should go after each other because they need the benefits. Like, no, I'd rather just fuck over Lotus Prince or like another player. It's
like,
so maddening.
Why would
but
you
it's
do
so
that?
funny.
Because
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah, because it's so infuriating, but it really is funny.
You just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah,
with somebody else.
And in Dokapon, you can. What's also cool about Dokapon, by the way, is that you can have a game where you're like level 1, you're supposed to go up to level 10 or 30 or whatever, but you could also start a new game where every player just begins at like level X, so you could just play a higher level game. It's like if you wanted to do a new Dungeons and Dragons campaign, but you wanted to fight like legendary characters, so you're like, fuck it, you all start at level 20. Like, you can do that in Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh wow,
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you can change the handicap. In other words,
I don't even know if it's a handicap. I think you all just start at the same level, and then you just play a higher level game, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. I've been wanting to play this. It's like one of the very few Wii games that I still want that I don't have. I know it's super expensive.
That's a game that I would want to say I have it, but I don't see me like actually playing it. It's one of those games I'm like, I should get it, but I'm not going to play it.
I would like to play it at like MagFest with you guys, like that kind of thing.
That would be a really good game to play at MagFest. Although you would need to set off a block of time for that. This is not Towerfall. Like that's an afternoon. So I don't know if it would be a good con game.
It would be cool to have just to be like, hey, you want to play Dokapon Kingdom?
Yeah, for like 20 minutes, like, but still, yeah.
Yeah, that's not something you can really do at like MagFest.
Yeah, no, that's something where you have people over at your house for a party or something. And
Gotcha.
like that's what you plan to do. Like, again, it's like watching a movie when you're having a party. Like, that's not really a good thing to do because no one's paying attention. Like, Dokapon is one of those. You really should like stick around with what you're doing.
And I also wanted to bring up the fact we played a multiplayer game, the three of us, a few years ago now. But I really super enjoyed it, and that I've been trying to rekindle that experience, I guess, with Triforce Heroes. We played Peace Walker together when that was on PS3.
Yeah, that shit got real.
Oh yeah, Peace Walker was really fun.
Loved playing it with you guys. We beat the whole game together, and
I think I have every
blast.
item in the game except for like the random drop that you get from the last level, which completes the stupid 4-man slingshot.
Oh my god, I
Which is
wish,
insta-killed
because
anything.
like if you see any like usage of like the railgun or the 4-man slingshot, like
oh my god,
they
yeah.
after it hits, it does like a dynamic camera pose, and like your team members go like tactical co-op weapon,
Yeah,
like
it's so
human
idiotic.
slingshot, and then like it kills anything in one hit because it's so stupid.
Yeah, like two men hold each side of the slingshot. A third man pulls the slingshot back, and the fourth man is the bullet who just goes flying and hits something and kills it. It's like, what?
It looks so funny.
No, I like the railgun though, because I think it's an insta-kill, but we didn't know it was an insta-kill at first. So Mr. Ryu and I, like, it's a two-man weapon, so one person holds the railgun, and the other person really goofily just, like, furiously turns a crank on the side to charge it up. And we were going up against, like, an early boss, like a tank, and we're like, let's try the railgun out. And we're just turning the crank like a freaking goofball, and it's like, it's ready to fire, okay, fire, and it's just like, bam, and the tank's just gone. We're like, Jesus. it was pretty fantastic.
It's like co-op weapon, railgun.
And it's just like this massive lightning bolt that destroys everything in its wake. It was great.
You know what I miss in Peace Walker? Like, recruiting people. You just beat them up.
Yeah, you just fire a Fulton at them and they just go flying off. I don't care if they're indoors. Shut up.
No,
They
I'm
just go
talking
flying
about when
away.
you're recruiting on the beach. It's like, hey, nice to
Oh,
meet you.
yeah.
Just throw them. It's like,
No, what's
good job.
great is when you combo CQC, and by the time you knock the last guy down, the first one stood up. So you just keep CQCing until you get like a 16-hit combo or something ridiculous. We just keep shoulder throwing everybody. Or like wrist twisting throwing everybody.
Yes.
No, you know
I
what's
love like
cool,
the
though,
black
was-
holes that you can shoot at people too.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
No, I like when you have like the emergency healing box and it has the stupid little like
The love
ambulance siren on it just going woo, woo, woo. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That game is so much more fun multiplayer.
It's the
If you
most-
play it by yourself, it's okay.
It is by far the most video game Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh, by far.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when you open the back of the truck and you see all these cogs and you're like, Metal Gear? It's like, oh. And no, my favorite though was when we were doing the Monster Hunter levels, and the final boss is not Metal Gear Rex, but Gear Rex. And it's just like a giant dinosaur thing that shoots like lasers and shit, and you're like, oh wow, I don't know how to fight this. It's terrifying.
It was really funny because
And you're firing rockets at it and it does nothing.
I remember doing the Monster Hunter missions with you guys, and Mr. Ryu would start like cooking his rations.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, just right there.
It's a
I
shame
love
David
that.
Hayter doesn't go, oh, so tasty. He's just
Yeah.
I mean, at least the Japanese snake will go, yoku dekimashita.
Oh, he does. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, and you
That's
also got
awesome.
the various Vocaloid bosses like singing at you as they fight you, which is surprisingly intimidating.
Yes, yes.
No, you know what actually really got me though, because when you first fight all those bosses, they're just like going like la 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 la, and they just like ride at you or something. It was actually really jarring when you play it on hard mode, and all of a sudden it's like, I will crush you like an insect, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, and they're like actually hard.
Oh, I had so much fun doing that. I hope to like continue playing these games like with you guys like over time, because
Yeah.
like I know it's tough like with schedules and stuff, but I've been trying to think of a game that we could all play, and I would play Final Fantasy, but it would take up way too much of my time, so
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But
Yeah, that's a time sink. That's
You know what I just
more of a
remember
time
was-
sink than Monster Hunter is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I just
I-
remember was really hilarious was I think this was just Vice and me when we were fighting one of those bosses, and it like you have to get up inside its body and
Oh,
get
yeah.
out before it crushes down. And I think I was down, so like Vice needed to heal me, but before he could, the crusher came down, but you're allowed to button prompt your way out of it, so you just hold it up like with your two hands like a
it's
Superman.
like a gigantic tank that
So
is like
yeah, so I'm
holding
just
yes.
lying on the ground, and Vice is like, "Ha!" just holding this massive multi-ton ceiling above my head
It
until it
looks
like
so
goes.
goofy.
And like I was able to pull off something similar when you fight the Peace Walker, this giant like spider-legged robot that's like several stories tall, and like it was gonna step on me, and I like just catch the leg and throw it off. It's like it's so stupid, but you feel so powerful when you do it. It's amazing.
Well, did anybody want to mention any other titles while we're at it before we move on to our question for the week and responses?
Like,
Shout
I'm not
out
really
to
a
Bomberman.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
Bomberman. Like, I'm not really a multiplayer guy myself, but if you sit me down and make me play it, I do enjoy myself in short bursts. So Bomberman's a really good example of one of those. Bomberman on the Switch is obviously amazing with its 8-player support, but I got nostalgia for Bomberman 64 because that was the first Bomberman game I think still the only one I've ever, the first one I've owned. But just the whole 3D aspect and like the pure stress you feel when you actually hear a voice going, "Hurry up," and the music picks up and you're like, "Oh no," and everything gets absolutely insane.
I still love Saturn Bomberman probably the most, but
yeah, I never played that multiplayer, but that no, I did actually. Yeah, that was a 10-player multiplayer one.
But Bomberman R is still really a great follow up, and I think they're continuing to make it better and better because they ported it to other consoles now. So
yeah, and they're releasing console-exclusive characters like Master Chief and Ratchet.
And
other characters. I forgot who else, but there's a surprising amount. I think like a Castlevania character.
Brandon Williams,
Peabody.
you know, the wrestler.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, really?
Are they doing the Jehuti as well from Zone of the Enders?
Yes, and they're on Steam. There's Peabody from Portal 2.
Oh right, yeah, the robot from Portal 2. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of the multiplayer. Was
Peabody the stubby blue one?
No.
Oh, that was Atlas. Peabody's the tall orange one. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, they're continuing support with that game, which I'm really surprised by.
Yeah, and again,
Konami's been really good about adding extra content and extra characters to it. It's been awesome.
I love Saturn Bomberman, and I'll say it's the superior game in terms of single player with all the crazy power-ups and level design. But for multiplayer, I think I gotta give the nod to Bomberman R, because even though Saturn Bomberman could support 10 players, that's only for one level, and
it's not a good version.
Everything's really zoomed out so everyone can fit on screen, whereas Bomberman R, every level is designed to support 8 players, and like it looks like it naturally fits every time, so that's kind of the way to go. Also, just fucking Pyramid Head Bomberman. I was trying to find out what his power was, and I get this purple, like, haze around me, and I start walking really slowly, and I'm like, my power is to cripple myself? But then I bumped into someone and they died, and it's like, oh! his power is just to fucking kill somebody, okay. Like, I mean, you have to, it's pretty easy to dodge him, but if you don't know what his power is, you just kill him without a bomb. You just touch him and he's dead. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so, I also want to reiterate to our audience that I think we all like multiplayer games to an extent. I'm mostly a single player guy as well as Lotus. Mr. Ryu, you play a lot of multiplayer games.
Oh yes,
you
I
play
do.
people online, but I don't like the randos. I like playing with people I know.
I prefer playing people I know or in person. Like I don't like playing online as much, and also I hate fighting games online. Like it makes me a worse player.
Although
really?
you did get that one that amazing message from, like, I forgot what game you were playing, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or whatever. It's like, you're just some motherfucker.
That's funny.
Basement.
I mean, I don't learn
hilarious.
I honestly don't learn anything playing like online, because most of the people there are either like rage quitters, like suck, or
you actually have to
I'll
find
get
people to
the
on your
occasional
level.
person who's like better than me, and like I do enjoy that kind of thing, but like and also the netcode, like the frame delay with, like, you know, internet play, like ruins me.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the fighting games he plays, it's not like Bomberman. Like with Street Fighter and like Fighter Z or Fighters, like frames, like this is like beyond me, but like frames actually do matter if you're like really into studying how these fighting games work.
Yeah, they really do matter.
Probably my favorite online moment though was you playing as old fat Mega Man in Street Fighter.
Oh, when you crashed the game,
cross Capcom, or Street Fighter cross Tekken. I'm sorry, where you spun and fell off the screen.
No, I think my favorite was when you were Rolento in that game, and you like did the thing where you jump in the air backwards and throw a diagonally downward knife into Ryu's fireball and just froze the game.
Yes. I was like, man, I hate this game. I'm gonna ruin it.
It's a glitch that you like knew about and just froze the. It reminds me of that one video you showed me where it was like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or whatever, where a guy just like crashed the arcade cabinet with the opponent he played and just immediately walked away, left the opponent like furious.
Yes.
It's like, what a dick.
Any final remarks before we move on here to our other sections?
Nope.
I think I'm good.
Okay, so like I said, we'll revisit this topic later.
No doubt.
Also, depending on the mix of people that we have on. But I just wanted to mention a few of our favorites and things that we've been playing recently that we've been really enjoying.
Yeah.
I want to first do my weigh-in. So I am actually at 256 right now, which is a pound up from the last weigh-in. However, I'm pretty proud of what I've been doing here, because I just came back from vacation, and my usual on vacation is just like eat like a maniac. So I usually like kind of gain like 5 pounds on vacation. You know, you're going out to dinner like every night and having fun and doing a lot of fun things. But I did fairly well. I kept myself under control. So I'm going to continue on here. I've been making really healthy meals for me and my girlfriend. I made a grilled chicken dish for actually today and the rest of the week, so we could eat it as time goes on. So it'll be nice and healthy, and I'm looking forward to weighing myself next week, because I think I'll be doing really well. So just wanted to mention that. And we'll move on to fan reactions here.
Yeah, exactly. So these responses were to a couple of things. One of them was the reactive consciousness topic, which was Old Man Stumpy and Minty Mitz's hiking trip. And the other was about the CoreCon topic, food. So General Ledger says...
General Ledger's...
Oh, he did have a previous one, yeah.
Yeah, this one was from 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately...
to live in?
Yeah, I wanted to add it in because we didn't add it in for last episode.
Right. So, yeah, a little bit late on this one was my bad. But General Ledger says, as for fictional worlds to live in, I'd prefer a world that's a bit silly and or in which I could solve most problems through judicious applications of wordplay, like the Kingdom of Loathing, Discworld, or the Puzzle Agent games. Yeah, I still remember when you showed me, Vice, the Kingdom of Loathing, where you're getting into a fight with an enemy, and it's just like, just as a baker would knead the dough, you knead the opponent in the face. And it's like, oh my fucking god. Alright, so, Sabrina
There's a
Hengel.
new game in that series.
West of Loathing.
Yeah.
And it's on GOG now, too, and Steam.
Yeah.
So Sabrina Hengel says, this is regarding, like, the kind of the hiking thing. Although I'm not really that much of a sporty person myself, I still remember cycling around a pretty big lake in Austria, and the trip actually took us a week to finish. Had to stay the night in lots of different apartments and such. I was totally exhausted at the end, and I'm definitely never doing it again. The sights were still beautiful were still beautiful though, no doubt.
Yeah.
Kat Jana says that this is going to food. When I was about 5 years old, I decided the most important thing in my life: I will never cook. My husband will do it for me. Decade and something later, I've met my boyfriend. I told him about this decision, and he was fine with it. Since that day, I learned something, but I still try to avoid the kitchen like the plague, because I always mess up something. Too much spice, too much salt, something not cooked enough, something's overcooked. I just forget something completely. Geez, I hate cooking. But I will still take homemade food before fast food. I like it, but even then. As for the favorite, I love food. That's my favorite. It's a quality answer too, actually.
You know what? I kind of have a similar dynamic. I ended up really loving cooking, and my girlfriend loves it. So it's one of the things that I do for the house. You know. Yeah. So she really appreciates it. She's a great cook too. But I think a lot of times we're both really tired, and I can actually like, you know, do a little bit of cooking when I'm still tired, and we like doing it though, and she's always very, very appreciative. So, guys out there, learn how to cook, man.
Yep. So the last input we have is Dracologist. This was just a shout out to Minty Mitz. I recommend using low heat to cook, because Minty Mitz was talking about like problems with chicken. I recommend using low heat to cook chicken with possible covered in tin foil so the vapors remain. Interesting bit. Putting salt on watermelon improves its taste.
That's true.
Yeah, don't they in Japan store like the watermelons like in the sea? Like they have like those bags that they just like let them submerge in seawater.
Yeah, I don't know
Isn't
anything
that a
about
thing?
that.
I don't know.
I think they showed that in like one of the Mario parties showed that. And I was like, what is this? And apparently it's like a cultural thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So for our fan question, this is a longer question because it has context coming from it. So Connor says, I recently watched season 4 of Black Mirror, and one of the most prevalent themes in it was AI and consciousness and sentience, and it got me thinking. Fast forward to the not-too-distant future. AI has progressed rapidly to the point where computer programs can learn and develop personalities in the same way as humans. However, there is some evidence that these programs are more than just the sum of their code. They may actually be sentient, with their own personal thoughts, feelings, and ambitions. This technology is commonplace. NPCs in video games are now essentially fully functioning virtual humans that can learn, adapt, and respond to communications in much the same way a real person can. My question is more of an open discussion. How would you feel about this? On one hand, you could have NPC companions in RPGs that you could talk to naturally and befriend and have organic conversations with. On the other hand, those pedestrians you mow down in Grand Theft Auto have lives, memories, and relationships with other NPCs in the game. To put it simply, do you think that lines of code can ever produce something that matches the complexity of the human brain? And if so, how would you feel about interacting with characters in a game that had the same level of consciousness, personality as yourself? Personally, I think, we're not digital, but, we literally run on electricity, and our shit is super complicated, but you probably could break it down into, some sort of programming if you knew how to, I don't think it's impossible, just insanely difficult. So I could buy that with actual artificial intelligence being sort of like that but super advanced. I think what would disturb me, interacting with these people might be one thing, but what disturbs me is that you just turn Grand Theft Auto off when you're done playing, even if they're suspended. That's just weird to do. I was also weirded out just by the concept of, robot friends, where, you just shut them off for the night, or it's yeah, okay, but go away, I don't want to deal with you right now. It's just off-putting to me.
What about you, Mr. Ryu? What do you think about this topic?
It's too deep for me. So it's I just beat up, character, I guess in Street Fighter. I was oh, it hurts. And
Yeah, you just interfered with Guile's marriage even more.
I make it make his life miserable.
Go home and be a family man, but his family hates him.
I can't go home and be a family man anymore. It's oh, god damn it.
Well, I guess my thoughts on this is I think it would be kind of cool to have an AI that would play with you and have fun and actually enjoy it and want to play with you and have a personality and joke around with you and things like that, just like an actual human being. And I look forward to being able to talk to something like that, just to find out more about it, because I'm a scientific and curious person. I think it would be really neat to talk to an AI and get to know it. My major problem with it is I don't think that our humans are smart enough, or empathetic enough to realize what they're doing when they come up with this stuff. I think by and large you'll have a lot of scientists and computer scientists and academics that will know that this is the right course of action, but to give these things human rights, if they have the intelligence, and also a series of limits.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to punish something like that? I mean, obliterate its code. It could probably replicate itself constly.
Well, the thing is though, how do you punish humans? You don't delete their memory. There are different things you could do.
You kill them. You could kill them or put them in jail.
Well, yeah, putting them in jail is one thing, but you don't the go-to isn't killing a person when they do something bad for punishment.
No, but there are punishments. So you can take money away from them. That's the most common thing, is to fine people.
Mm-hmm. Because actually, even though I haven't played the game yet, and I want to, I saw a really interesting clip in Detroit Become Human, where I don't know the context of it, but there was an android who was in an interrogation room for some crime, I guess, And the cops are like, he's just not talking, man. What should we do? And someone's like, maybe we should rough him up. And one of his android assistants is like, that's not going to help you. Like, he doesn't have pain receptors. All you're going to do is just damage the unit and get nowhere. And they're like, oh, shit. Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is there's some real potential for abuse there. Just, like, not treating them right.
I'm just seeing a replicant situation. Or, like,
yeah,
iRobot.
Exactly. People are going to take advantage of them because they can, because they don't have the same rights as human beings. So they'll make them do things for us, and they'll have a miserable existence. I don't think we're smart enough to know to treat them like human beings.
No, here's a different thing, though. The other part of his question was, what about NPC characters in pre-existing video games? That would raise all sorts of, like, I don't even know if I would game anymore, because, like, all you do in most video games is just, like, mow enemies down. Even, like, the random encounters in Final Fantasy, it's like, I don't know if I could do this, man.
Well, it'd be like, they also get reset, like, every time that you turn the game on or somebody else plays.
But that's
they have the memories
though.
Of dying constantly.
Well, yeah, fuck that. That's like, they reset the memories in Westworld, but that's Westworld. Like, no, thank you. We're not doing that shit. Or, not to mention, when they do retain the memories, isn't that Doomsday from Superman? Like, wasn't he killed, like, 1 trillion times?
Yeah.
And he remembers all of it, and now he's just raving mad.
Angry. Yeah, he's just angry because he's just died and had to survive, like, the worst environmental conditions.
He was grounded to paste and put back together many times. Like, he's never going to recover from that. I'm sorry.
He's just a rage monster because that's the only way he could survive.
Like, fucking God of War, you're doing, like, a replay of that game? Like, fuck off. Like, well, I'm not doing that. That's terrible.
Yeah, I think you would need to have some kind of human rights for something like that, because why put it through constant torture of having to relive getting killed over and over again?
Not to mention just the act of creating sentience. Like, who should be able to do that, and why should it be them? And what criteria will there be when creating such things?
And I also keep thinking about, like, that episode of South Park where you have, like, a character that has a weapon that he shouldn't have, and it just goes through, like, an NPC has that and is going through the game just killing people constantly, like some sort of demon.
Oh yeah, when you have a cheat code or something. Oh, you mean the Warcraft episode?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, when you have, like, any kind of cheat code where it's just like, well, I got the Chronoceptor from Turok, like, on level 1, and you're just, like, nuking everything.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, an NPC, like, getting tired of this shit and starting to kill everyone.
Or Fallout 3 or 4, I forgot which one, when you have a literal nuke gun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
3 and 4 have it, actually.
Oh, they both? What was that, like, Little Boy or Fat Man or something?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, the Fat Man gun.
Okay, there's Fat Man, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, this is getting off topic, but, like, I did not understand until way after seeing the game for the first time that the Fat Man boss in Metal Gear Solid 2, like,
was referencing that.
Yeah, he's a fat man, but that's also, like, a double meaning. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, it's particularly telling coming from, like, a Japanese studio.
No kidding. Yeah, I think they would know a thing or two about the Fat Man. Ugh, it's just like, it's amazing that they just put that directly into a game.
Yeah, they actually censor that out of the Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 for Japan.
I had heard about that, yeah.
Mad.
I forgot what they called it. They just called it something different.
Yeah, just like a nuke launcher or something. Launcher or something like that.
Yeah, Nuka. Yeah, I think it is Nuka. It actually makes sense with the theme. It's not even a bad change. I think there was another change. I think it might have been Australia or something, where, like, the drug morphine was changed to some made-up drug name because they didn't want to use, like, real drug names. Abuse. Yeah, like Duke Nukem 3D on the Nintendo 64 used Chemical X or something instead of steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah, I get it.
Also, the two-headed cows that are named Brahmin are in the Indian version of Fallout 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about those.
Yeah. I think we explored that pretty good. I know Mr. Ryu is like, no, not delving into this.
It's too bad too, man. Like, you had your chance. What if Miku were real?
Oh shit, she'd probably be like, ew. A disgusting.
Yeah, Miku would be like, no 3D PD for me, and you'd be like, oh, what? What a twist!
I
you can't
I
even
bought you
write
for hundreds
music,
of dollars.
Mr. Ryu. Like, why would I like you? It's like, no.
What if Miku
Yeah,
was
she'd be like, you're such a weeb.
What if Miku was like, I wouldn't like anybody who would actually like me?
Oh, wow. It's Domino's
Just
or
like
nothing,
Groucho
buddy.
Marx. I wouldn't want to be part of any club that wanted me as a member.
Yeah, what a great line. No, my dad's favorite Groucho Marx line is when he and some woman are hugging, and she's like, hold me closer, closer! And he's like, lady, if you were any closer, I'd be standing behind you. It's like, it's so good.
All right, well, I think we explored that topic. I'm sure we'll have some interesting input on that from the audience. Please do give us your reactions to that one, because I'm really interested to hear what people will say.
It's like this whole existential debate. It just is the plot of iRobot.
Jeez, we could have a whole podcast on that, to be honest.
Oh my god, yeah. It's
we
the entire game of
talk
Detroit
about
Become
those.
Human. Like, that's the point of that game.
I actually want to hear the other members' thoughts on this, like Minty Mitz's and Old Man Stompy and Pyra's reaction to that, because I that's a really good question, and I think we'll have more to say on it later. But off the top of my head, I think that's my initial reaction. So that's the show for this week. We want to thank all of our fans who contributed questions. Please keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own on the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesday on our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live,
And
Twitter,
other stuff.
Switch, and Battle.net.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming Let's Plays, getting in on a Discord with other patrons, and perhaps Conswitter. It's too late. I ruined it. It's over. I blew it.
We need to do all 104 episodes over.
God damn it! No, but please
do it
consider.
live.
Yeah, we're doing it live. Please consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And I'm Mr. Ryu, 45, on many different live platforms like Steam, like PlayStation Network, and Xbox. Even though I don't really use Xbox anymore since I don't have an Xbone. And that's also my Twitter handle, and I'm actually starting to use Twitter a bit more. So
I need to friend you on Twitter.
Yeah. So if you ever feel like
I'm gonna follow you,
stalking like a weeb.
We need to know more about Nipples the Enchilada.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
that's okay. The world does too.
All right. Well, we'll catch you on Tuesday, everybody.
Until next time, everyone.
See you next time, maybe. I don't know.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.